Welcome to the Killjoy After Party.
Think the fun is over once you quit drinking?
Think again.
We have a booze-free beverage shop in Nashville, and we hear stories from our customers all the time about how much better life is after booze.
And we're excited to share these stories with you.
And since this is Nashville, you bet your ass we're making it musical.
Yeah, it tastes like sunshine, like a real good time, lifting my mood and it brightens my day. Hey, hey. Gonna rise and grow, no alcohol, get my sparkle roll. Hey, hey. Gonna rise and grow.
Nicole, this is really you're our first. We've had like practices, but this is hopefully going to be something official that we publish, unless it's terrible.
This is going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Be amazing.
So, thank you so much for being here. We're really excited to chat with you today. So, welcome to the show, Nicole Cramer.
Thank you for having me, guys. I adore both of you. You know that. And it's really fun to be able to have a conversation in this format, too. So, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And so, we know you pretty well just from events and hanging out at the shop and stuff, but a lot of the people who are watching this probably don't know a lot about you. So can you just kind of give us a little refresher? Sometimes when we talk, it's during Kava night, and I don't remember any of that stuff. So just kind of get the gears moving again.
Yeah, I still consider myself new to Nashville. I've been here about 2 years. And before that, I was living in California for 17 years. And throughout my life, I've been a teacher. I've been a corporate salesperson. I've been an entrepreneur. I played basketball in college, done a bunch of different things, all pretty much have one common theme. There's a drive there. There's a desire there for me to do something big and new. And that's kind of some of the things that I really enjoy.
I did not play basketball in college, but I do love basketball. What position were you? I feel like you were a shooting guard.
Yeah, shooting.
Yeah?
You know,
Nice.
you know me, John. You know me.
Yes. I was like a small forward, when I played in things that were organized. But yeah. Sweet. Do you still shoot around at all?
I do. I still shoot really well. If we had to run up and down the court, that might be a different experience. But yeah, once a shooter, always a shooter. I don't think you ever really
right. And what's a shooter do? A shooter shoots.
Shooter shoots. There was a time where I was having not a very good game, and I was missing a lot. And I think that this is always a great analogy for life. At least I remind myself of this a lot. And because I wasn't making any shots, I stopped shooting. And I was the shooter. Like I was the shooter on our team, right? And my coach pulls me out of the game. I mean, other people could shoot and do things, but that was my role. And he pulls me out of the game. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm not making anything." He's like, "You listen to me. When you're on, shoot. When you're off, shoot until you're on. Just keep shooting."
Wow.
I love that.
And so I remind myself that a lot in life. It's like, it would feel so easy to just give up and to believe the bullshit and to believe the fact that this isn't working out. But it's like, no, when you're on, shoot. When you're off, keep shooting, right?
Yeah.
Shoot until you're on. Keep going.
Yeah, I always hear people say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yep. Yeah. How are you going to start making any shots again if you're not shooting? Like if you cut yourself off from it completely, there's no way that you're going to make any more shots. So
did you play any other sports like growing up or anything?
I did. I played softball and volleyball. And then it got to a point where when I was in high school, my dad was like, "Hey, you can keep playing all these sports and that's cool. Or if you really are serious about going to college, I would suggest maybe you focus just on that and dedicate a lot of your time in the off season to really working on your game." And, that's a decision that I think is something important to make if you are planning on going at the next level to play. So that's what I did. So I gave up the other sports. I loved them, but it was time for me to really focus on where I was headed. And I did end up getting a scholarship for it. And so it was worth dedicating that time.
Yeah. Is that something that's easy for you to do? Because I find myself I'm like, God, I could be good at one thing if I would just do one thing. But then I'm like, but I want to do 50 things. It's really hard for me.
One of the hardest, I think for a lot of people, I think, we're very similar, especially because we're entrepreneurs. I think we're visionaries. We have ideas and we want to do all of them. And I think that's one of the fastest ways to take ourselves out of the game. Pun intended and no pun intended, I guess, is not stay focused. And, with the people that I work with and the work that I do, it's easy for me to identify because it is a challenge for me to stay focused. And when other people are trying to do a bunch of different things, it's like, well, what's the one thing that's most important to you right now? And if you're trying to do every other thing, there's this quote that I really like. He who chases two rabbits catches neither.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And it's the truth. If you think about trying to catch two rabbits at once, you can't, right? You're only going to catch whichever one you're chasing and actually following. So yes, it is hard. I was fortunate enough to have a dad who was really good for accountability for me. He wasn't my basketball coach. He didn't coach my team, but he was like my personal coach, more or less, which I didn't appreciate it at the time as much as I do now. And I had a lot of friends at the time that were like, oh my God, I wish I had your dad. I wish I had that, because there was the idea that like, it wasn't that I was going to get in trouble, right? It wasn't like you have to do this or else you're going to be grounded. It's, hey, you told me this is important to you. Is it still important to you? And if so, what are you doing today to help make that possible? So it was a constant reminder. He also made a promise to me when we were in 6th grade. I told him, I'm going to get a scholarship to play basketball in college. And he looked, I will never forget, right where we were in the gym, I was shooting the basketball. He was rebounding for me. He said, if you want a scholarship to college, that's a really hard thing to do. I said, Dad, I'm going to make it happen. Just watch me. And he said, if you are adamant about that, I will do whatever I can in my power to help you get there. And if you do, I will buy you whatever car you want if you get a scholarship to college. And I was like, you'll buy me whatever car I want? Like, that's all I have to do is get a scholarship? He's like, it's a big deal to get a scholarship. So it's not all you have to do. But yes, that's my deal, is if you get a scholarship to college, I will buy you whatever car you want. And I remember in that moment in 6th grade saying, I'm going to make this happen. And I did. And it was really cool.
Wow.
I got to pick out the car that I wanted. And
what did you pick out?
Hold on. Can I guess?
Yes.
Because I'm very interested. So knowing
what year was this? Because I think that's going to make a difference.
1996.
Mind dating yourself?
Yeah, right.
I thought you got like a Mustang or something.
Nope.
No?
Nope. It was, so what I saw the car that I wanted when I was a sophomore in high school. So I'll tell the story really quickly. It's actually a pretty cool story. I saw it when I was a sophomore. It was this bright green, go figure, a bright green Honda Civic Del Sol, which was, I don't know if you guys remember them.
Oh yeah.
Convertible, right? But it had a hard top, so it was great. It's just like a regular car too. And then you just take the top off, and super easy, super convenient. My dad loved cars. So whenever he went to dealerships, I always liked going with him. And so we were at a Honda dealership. I saw this green car and I was like, that's the one. That's the one I want. Well, 2 years later, when I've got my scholarship. Well, this is a funny story. My coach called me and said he, was ready to offer me a scholarship. He said, but your grades are really good too. And you could qualify to take this exam where if you pass this exam and you win, then you get a free academic scholarship to college. And I was like, no, I'm good with the athletic scholarship. And I hang up the phone. And my mom's like, what did your coach want? And I'm like, he said there's a test I can take and I could get an academic scholarship, but I want the athletic scholarship. And my dad comes in. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, you can take a test and get an athletic or an academic scholarship. And I'm like, yeah, but I want the athletic one. He's like, what? My parents are confused. In their mind, a scholarship is a scholarship. And I was like, but I want the car. And my dad's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you said if I got a scholarship to play basketball in college, you'd get me a car. And I want the car. He said, Nick, I don't care what the scholarship is for. We'll get the full ride and I'll get you the car. And I was like, oh. So I called my coach back and I was like, I'll take the test. And I went and took the test and I won. I'm book smart. I won't claim to be a lot of other smarts in other areas, but I'm very book smart. I got good grades. Won out of a couple hundred people, scored the highest and got a 4-year scholarship to college for my grades. And so my dad was like, okay, let's go car shopping. And so I just wanted the green one, and they didn't make the color green anymore. They made all kinds of other Honda Civic Del Sols, but not the green one. And I was very adamant. I didn't want black. I didn't want red. And so we kept looking and looking and looking. And finally one day I was going to prom and I had just gotten my hair done. I was driving home. And I mean, you guys remember this. This was back before we had like the internet and places that you could like look things up, like the car that you were looking for. You had to just hope that you saw it somewhere for sale, right? So I'm driving home from getting my hair done for prom and we're in a hurry. And my best friend's with me. And I look over in this parking lot while we're sitting at a red light and I see a green car, the exact one that I want. And it's got a for sale sign in it. And I'm like, I got to pull over there. I got to write this number down. Oh my God, that's the car I want. I pull over, I write the number down. We rush home. Like I said, we're running late. So my dad's like, just go get ready. He's like, give me the number. Cause I'm all excited. I'm like, I found it. It's for sale. He's like, give me the number. You go get ready. Go enjoy prom. So I get ready. I enjoy prom. I come home the next morning. That's all I can think about. I go straight to my dad. I'm like, did you call on the car? He's like, yeah. And it was already sold. And I was like, all right. So we kept looking and we kept looking. For the next 2 weeks, we went to dealerships. We went to all these different places, kept test driving cars. And the time comes for graduation day. And after we walked across the stage, my parents said, okay, we'll meet you at home. And I drive home and the garage doors closed. And I'm like, that's weird. I wonder why the garage doors, I thought they beat me home, but whatever. So I punch in the code, the garage door opens, and there's this green car with balloons on it. And my parents are recording. And I'm like, what? Where did you find it? And my dad's like, I didn't find it. You found it. And I was like, no, where? And he said, it's the one you saw on your way home from prom. And I said, you said it was sold. And he said it was to me.
Oh,
He was the one that bought it. He hid it from me in my aunt's garage for 2 weeks and had it ready for me the day I graduated. So
that is so sweet. Wow.
thank
I
you.
love that. Yeah. That's, I don't know that I would do that for my kids. I love my kids, but that's a lot of planning.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it took,
You got a good one.
yeah, you know, what was funny is I didn't understand at the time, like, I can't believe he's going to buy me a whole car. And I just had to like get this scholarship. And looking back now, I'm like, oh my God, I saved him so much money. Now, but at the time, I just thought that was the coolest thing. And it was, you know, and it's a fun story to remember because, you know, it also teaches you like, I made up my mind in 6th grade that I was going to make it happen and then made it happen. So it's cool to see something like that really come true.
Yeah, I love that. Mindset is huge.
Kind of makes you wish you would have had a bigger goal there. Rather than a car and a scholarship.
Knowing a little bit more about cars. Yeah, I could any car I wanted. I could have dreamt a little bigger, but no, I
mean, if they had asked me that, I probably would have got like a Thunderbird or something really stupid.
Yeah. Well, there was a geo tracker that almost made its way into that. Yes. And I look back now and I'm like, I'm so glad I got talked out of that. No offense to anybody who ever drove a geo tracker. They seemed pretty cool, but
listen, I thought those were so stupid in the 90s. There's like a pink one parked in my neighborhood and I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to get this car.
Now it would be so cool to have.
Sell that to me.
Yeah. Especially a pink one. I feel like that's so
adorable. I need it.
Yeah. You know.
So tell us, how long have you been alcohol free?
I have been alcohol free since 2018, January 1st, 2018.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So what is that in years? What year are we in?
4, 6.
About 6 years. Yeah. Which seems crazy to me still sometimes. It's normal for me now. Like it doesn't feel like, oh my God, I can't believe I stopped drinking. But part of me still exists inside of me that's like, I still kind of can't believe I did it, knowing who I was, knowing who I had, been all those years. But I can't imagine it any other way.
I love that. Kind of what was the impetus that made you want to quit? Was it through recovery or just kind of, it wasn't enhancing your life?
It was not enhancing my life. It was doing the exact opposite and it was taking away from it. And it was really hard for me to see that for a while because everything in my life was so intertwined with that culture. And I saw the end of that being the end of life, if that makes sense. Yeah. It was very much like, that's not a life I can ever live or ever want to live. And I felt like it would cut me off from all of the things that I really enjoyed about life. And the problem was I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. So as much as I saw it as this is how life is, I also did not enjoy any of the experiences I was having anymore. And to be honest, if we were to go way back, so I quit in 2018. In 2013, I had pancreatitis. And I don't know if you've ever had it yourself or know anybody who has. It was the hardest thing that my body's ever had to recover from. And I don't know that it was directly related to drinking. I know a lot of people get that from drinking. I mean, I drank a lot. But I had a kidney infection that got really bad and it traveled upwards into my pancreas. And I ended up in the hospital for 7 days. Whole nother story, but I didn't have health insurance at the time. Like it was just this whole debacle. And coming out of the hospital and recovering took me at least a good 3 to 4 months. And I did not, again, this was back in 2013. I didn't drink at all during those 3 to 4 months because I didn't want it. That was the first time in my life that I was so turned off by it. But trust me, I still tried to drink. I don't know if that makes sense. Even though I didn't want it, my body was like rejecting it. The emotional, social part of me was like, I can figure this out. I can still drink. I wasn't ready to give it up. And my body, not to get too TMI, but my body really rejected it. Like I would black out. I would have like 2 drinks and that would be it. And that was not my norm. My norm was like I could, drink as much as I wanted and be fine. But pancreatitis shifted things for me, like biologically. And that was the beginning. What I look at as the beginning of the end. So that was 2013. I didn't stop drinking until 2018. Trust me, I had a lot of good times in those 5 years, had a lot of really rough times in those 5 years, and had a lot of what the hell am I doing conversations with myself during those 5 years. And there's a lot of things, people often ask me, they're like, what was it? What made you quit? And everybody's looking for that rock bottom story. Everybody's looking for the dun, dun, dun. And I'm like, oh, I got plenty of those. I could talk until I'm blue in the face for all the reasons why I should have stopped drinking. All the times where I was found on a sidewalk 2 blocks from my house, passed out, having no idea where I was. All the times that I was throwing up in front of a classroom when I was a teacher because I was still hungover from the night before. Like there were a lot of things, if we were to get into the nitty gritty, that should have made me quit. Really. And none of them did. Whether that's something to be proud of or not, the part that I am proud of is when I did finally decide to quit, it's because of that exact thing, because I decided to quit. And I think for me personally, that made it a very empowering decision versus feeling like I was forced to do something, or it still felt hard. There's nothing about what I'm saying right now that means that made it easy and things were hunky-dory after that. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but it was also a choice. And I think what made it successful for me, and maybe this will help some people if they're considering this themselves, is I didn't decide to stop drinking. I decided to give myself a year off. Now, a year is a long time. You could decide whatever increment you want. If a week off is what works for you right now, do a week off. If a month off, whatever. But I had a friend years before me making this decision. I had a friend who had taken a year off. And she still went to the clubs with us and still went out with us. And I, at the time, was like, I have no idea how you're doing this. Like, we're all hammered and you're not. And I don't know how you're enjoying yourself. But something really stood out to me about her ability to do that, about how, I don't know if I want to use the word disciplined, but maybe respectful of herself that she was in making that decision and giving her herself that opportunity to see what is life like without it. And so when I was really struggling, because I was towards the end, I was really struggling. Like I said, I was struggling with the idea that I didn't want to do it anymore because I wasn't enjoying it. But I was struggling also with the idea of being a quitter and quitting the only life that I knew. I'm like, what the hell do you do on a Friday night? Go to the library? I don't know. What do I do if I quit drinking? Like, where do we go and what do we do? And how do I have fun? And I didn't see any of that as being possible, which is why I just kept going for longer than I really wanted to. And so it got to the point where, a couple of other things outside of my world of drinking were really not working for me. And one of them was, I really thought when I left teaching and I went into corporate sales, that becoming successful in corporate sales was going to be my answer. I thought that was going to be the thing that completed me, that validated me, that gave me worthiness. And I really wanted to be number one. And I did become number one. And you know what? The angels didn't fucking sing. The fireworks didn't go off. And I'm sitting there going, but wait, I checked off all the things that I knew were going to make me happy, like getting myself out of debt and having money in the bank and having the condo at the beach and having the dog and traveling the world and being number one in the nation. Man, oh man, did I check off those boxes. And man, oh man, was I bummed, like lower than low when I realized that wasn't the answer. And that's when I really had some conversations with myself and some people in my life that are really important to me. And I thought, you know what if I just discover what my life is without alcohol? And I just give myself a year. Because I don't want to say I'll never do this again, because I might need to. And so I thought I'll dedicate my life in 2018 to not drinking. And I also gave myself permission to give up if I decided to. Like 6 months in, if I decided I don't want to do it anymore, I won't. And I think part of the reason that I was successful with it during that year is because I wasn't too rigid with it. And to each his own, everybody's got to be different. But for me, it was like, I know there's an end if I want there to be an end. But I also know I can stick with this and I'm going to see how long I can go and how I feel. And a lot of people were like, so are you going to get hammered at the end of 2018? And I'm like, is that important to you to know? Like, do you need me to say that to like be welcomed back into the club? Like, right. And I thought it was interesting because I think the hardest part, and I'm sure you guys understand this and people listening who have made this decision understand, the hardest part was it felt very confronting that I had made this really positive decision for myself at least I felt it was a really positive decision for myself. And it wasn't received the way I thought it was going to be received.
Yeah.
Especially by the people that I'd been sitting side by side pounding beverages with. They did not receive it well. And what I learned the hard way is when you say to somebody, the reason that you stopped drinking is that you're an alcoholic, and they were the ones that you were doing all the drinking with, what you've just done is called them an alcoholic, and you're a mirror for them. And that's not comfortable.
Right.
And so it created a lot of uncomfortable conversations during that year. So a lot of me is like, I felt good. I was proud of myself, but there were a lot of really challenging things during that year of not drinking too. So sometimes I'm like, I'm really proud that I made the decision to keep going, because things weren't necessarily easy that first year that I stopped.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that was the hardest part. What do you think was the best part?
Feeling good every day. My money not being blown on alcohol that I don't even remember, like, oh, what's this $300 round of drinks that I bought at the bar? I don't even remember that, like little things like that, surprises. And I think I guess more than anything, the self-respect that I've started to gain and grow in for myself. When you make a decision like that, it is a really difficult decision. And you do have a lot of forces working against you. Not just in, for me, it wasn't like I wasn't fiending to have a drink. For me, and I know everybody's different, I wasn't like, I've just got to get to the bar to have a drink. I was like, I've just got to get to the bar to be seen and have friends and be social. And I don't know what to. And so I ended up spending a lot of time by myself. And that was another one of the parts that was really hard. Because like I said, what do you do? Go to the library on Friday? I don't know. I wasn't sure what to do and where to go. And I think the best parts were that kind of forced me to go inward and develop a different relationship with myself. And that wasn't always pretty either. But now that I'm on the other side of a lot of that, I can tell you that was really valuable time for me with me.
Yeah, that was one of the things for me, and it's only been a little over a year. The giving up the drinking wasn't the hard part because it wasn't enhancing my life. It was how I was using it as a crutch. Mm-hmm. And like I had to do the same thing. I'm still doing the same thing, like spending time with myself and being very aware of kind of how I was leaning on that in social situations or whatever. Still working through that.
Yeah. Aren't we all, John?
Yeah. And that opens up a whole nother gate to like, different, deeper rooted issues that, we all carry around. So it's just opening that door kind of allowed me to see kind of, all the other ways where I was not really living up to how I wanted to be,
Agreed. I think that I saw a lot of that too. Like, where else am I not really living the life that I envision for what I want and what I desire? And I'm kind of just settling. I found that when I was in my drinking phases, it was really, I used it more as a distraction, and to your point, John, my life wasn't really moving forward in the other ways that I really believed that I wanted it to, because I was holding myself back by, distracting. I just remember thinking like, I wonder how people like go and get things done on Saturdays. Like literally, I didn't know how to, I'm like, how do you because I'm in the bar all day watching sports and hanging out and like, and we lived in Southern California, like it was the culture, it was the way. And I just remember thinking like on Monday mornings, like, well, shit, there's another weekend where I didn't get any laundry done. Oh, well. And I mean, if I'm not getting laundry done, what else am I not getting done? What else am I missing out on?
Right.
And it's like that. I mean, that's just the bare minimum. Like, I'm not even keeping up with like simple adulting, like preparing myself meals and meal prepping for the week. And like, where else am I falling short?
Well, much less spending any time, nurturing your soul and asking it what it really needs and that kind of a thing. Like that's probably the very bottom of the list.
That's it. Well, and it is, because when you're afraid to nurture your soul and confront what's really there, it's like, no, I'll just go have a few more drinks. Like it's way more fun. Yeah. Sun's out, everybody's out. It's so-and-so's birthday. Yeah. I'll do it. I'll do that tomorrow.
Of course. Yeah. After the laundry and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. All the other things, they're never going to get done.
I feel like you've given out a lot of good piece of advice and tips, but if you had to like top three pieces of advice that you would give to somebody kind of looking to quit or right in the middle of it, what do you think those would be?
I think number one, celebrating all of your little wins. Like you don't have to be perfect in sobriety. It's not an all or nothing, black and white, right or wrong. And I think, at least for me, that's one of the reasons why I didn't approach it for a long time. I thought, if I can't do it perfectly, I'm not going to do it at all. Yeah. And it also felt to me like a very scary approach. Like the world of non-drinkers felt heavy. It felt dark. It felt like we've all done something wrong. We've all sinned. We've all, and you're either in that category or you're over here having fun.
Right.
So the idea that like I went, listen, every day was a reason to drink. And the idea that on Monday, I didn't go out for Monday Night Football and that Tuesday, I didn't go out for Taco Tuesday, those could be celebrations. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I made it a whole year without drinking. Now it's time to celebrate. So give yourself the opportunity to really celebrate those little wins so that you start to gain traction if that's the path that you're really looking to stay on. And that will feel really good because all of those wins deserve to be celebrated. It's not just I've been sober for 17 years. No, I've been sober 17 seconds, right? Like sometimes that's a win. So I would say definitely that. And I think second, for me, what was successful is giving myself that timeline of like, I'm just going to quit for a year. And whatever turned out after that is fine. But I knew I wanted to give myself the opportunity to really know me without alcohol and see what that was all about. So whether that's giving yourself a month of dry January or a whole year of taking it off, I think breaking it down is going to help you be more successful into little increments that help you find those successes. And then I think the third one, most important, I think of all of that is who you're putting yourself around. And I think for me, it was really hard to choose to quit because I was afraid of losing some of those people because although they were my drinking buddies, they were still great people in every way. None of them had done anything wrong. And it's up to them to decide what's best for them. But I also knew that me choosing not to drink was going to sever some of the commonalities that we had because that was in many ways what we did together. And so I had to be really intentional about putting the right people in my life. And you asked earlier, John, about recovery. I did not go through recovery. I actually did my own version of it. So my therapist at the time, he had gone through AA. And ironically enough, he and I were friends in the drinking world way before he ever became my therapist. Like we used to be drinking buddies together, right? He cleaned his life up. I was really interested in cleaning mine up. We divinely came back together and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect person for me. And he had his own, AA sponsor and everything else. He was that for me. He really was my go-to person, especially in that first year, that made a huge difference for me. So I called him a member of my success team. Like I had a few different people in my life around that time that really were impactful to helping me stay on the path that I was really wanting to be on. So put the right people in.
I love that you had a success team.
Yeah, that's what I called them.
Amazing.
Yeah. Great people. And it was like my own board of directors, which I think when we're still learning how to trust ourselves and build that relationship, because that was a big thing for me. Self-trust was huge. It still is. And especially with drinking, I didn't trust myself to make the right decision for me. I actually trusted myself more to go do the irresponsible thing. And so I think as we're developing that relationship with ourselves and learning how to trust ourselves, having those voices of reason that we really respect and admire is a huge, huge support system.
I love that. I think for me, the self-trust that came after quitting drinking was one of the kind of unexpected side effects that I was really, really made me feel good.
Yeah.
Something I didn't know that I was missing on that level.
I think you don't even realize how much of it is missing because you've normalized the mode that you're in. You've normalized how you've made decisions and what you've done. And it's like, oh my God, there's this whole world over here that I could be treating myself with so much more respect and really trusting who I am. And it opens up the further you go in that path.
Yeah, 100%. I also think, people, it gets more and more fun, as you realize that this notion that you had that life will be over when you quit drinking, you realize like, oh, that's not the case at all, right? Like I continue to be a fun person and life is going to continue to be fun.
It's even
so I wonder, right?
Yeah.
Can you share a story about like something super fun or wild and crazy that you have done completely sober?
Yes.
Or at least alcohol free.
How intimate can we get? No, I'm just kidding.
Let's get juicy here.
Juicy.
It's a pretty simple story, but it was really profound and impactful for me. One of the things that I did kind of unintentionally, I guess, when I stopped drinking is I stopped dancing. And I love to dance. Dancing has always been something that is so expressive for me, so connective for me. I really like music and I like moving my body. And I stopped doing it when I stopped drinking because I didn't know where to do it. You can't do dancing at the library on Friday nights, right? Which I mentioned that a couple times. I didn't actually ever go to the library on Friday nights. Depends on what library you're going to. But that was really, I didn't even realize at first that I had cut myself off from things like that. And about halfway through 2019, actually towards the end of 2019, I was at an event in Las Vegas. It was a personal development event with one of the coaches that I was working with, one of my success team members. And she had a stage that she was presenting on. And during one of the intermissions, she played music and I got up on the stage and started dancing, almost like just without even realizing it, right? I was just having so much fun. And there was another girl that was dancing in the room. And so I got up on stage and I'm dancing and I'm having a great time. And people were watching, of course, at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm performing, whatever. And this woman comes up to me afterwards. I probably danced for like 2 or 3 songs. And she comes up to me. She said, I have to tell you, I have never seen somebody have so much fun when they are you are such a good dancer. You were like in your own little world over there. And I have to tell you, I must have been standing next to one of your friends because I made a comment while I was watching you dance. And I said, she must have had a couple drinks. She's feeling pretty good. Right. And your friend looked at me and said, she doesn't drink. She's completely sober. And she said, and I just wanted you to know that I've never seen somebody have so much fun and be such a good dancer. And I just have so much respect that you didn't even need a drop of alcohol to do it. And by the time she was done, I was bawling my eyes out because that was the first, I said, I want you to know, I don't think I've ever felt so seen in my life. Thank you for seeing me, for pointing that out to me. This is the first time I've danced since I stopped drinking. And I had no idea that I still had it in me and that it was still possible to do this and have this much fun. So that to me was like this profound, I don't have to stop dancing. I don't have to stop having fun. I don't have to stop enjoying my life. That was really one of the first times that I felt seen for really being who I was.
Oh, what a great story. That like made me kind of tear up.
I know. I got a little misty. I was trying to hold it in. That's beautiful.
Yeah. It was nice to remember like the drinking, I think we just come to know as us. And it's not. I knew myself as that person. And it was interesting to get to know myself all over again in a new way. And that was a big piece of who I was. And to be seen for that and to know that's still a part of me was really amazing.
And I know you still dance.
I love to dance. Yeah. Yes, I hope I don't ever stop.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, here's to that. Never stop dancing.
Never stop dancing.
Never stop. Let's make that our 4th tip. Never stop dancing.
Never stop dancing. I'm putting that on a shirt.
Well, and this is part 2 of this podcast is where you're about to become a songwriter.
That I can dance to, I hope.
We're writing you a dance song.
Yeah.
I love this.
Well, we got to do the rapid fire thing first.
Oh, yeah. So
based on that.
What we're going to do next is we're going to ask you a series of rapid fire questions, and we are going to use some of the things that you've already talked about and some of the answers to these questions to help us. Together, we're going to write. It's more like a jingle, but it's like your song, a little song for you that we're going to write together in the next like 10 minutes. So it's kind of like a wacky, quick rapid fire jingle. Yeah. We're working on an
epic poem to sum up your life completely. And we're going to do it in like 10 minutes. That'd be awesome.
So fun. I love it. The first songwriting experience.
Really?
Welcome to Nashville.
Yeah.
Now I don't even have to say I'm new to Nashville after this. I am like a local.
That's right.
I write songs.
All right. So we're starting off easy. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Yes.
What's your favorite animal?
Cassie, my dog, my boxer. Surprise.
Yeah, we should have known that one. I love that. Music. What's your favorite music genre?
I would say probably pop.
Favorite band, just whatever comes to mind.
Dave Matthews.
Favorite alcohol-free drink?
Cali Sober.
Yes!
Sponsorship.
Sponsor.
Here we go.
Woo woo!
All right.
Yes.
All right. What is your favorite feature of your own face?
My smile.
Agreed. Do you have a nickname?
Knick Knack Paddywhack. Sometimes
Ooh,
that's what people call me.
there's your first
It's like
line.
most people, a lot of people call you Nick, right?
Yeah. Nick.
You are now Nick.
Her name is
You
Nick.
are now Nick. I love that.
Yeah. That started because I was on I made my own TV show called Nick at Night. I know Nick at Night is like a real thing, but I was like, what am I going to call my TV show? And then Nick at Night. So everybody started calling me Nick.
Oh, nice.
If I see you at night, it's Nick at Night. For sure. Sorry.
You know it.
I think we've already answered this, but what's your favorite way to move your body?
Dancing.
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 What do you like to do for fun?
Play board games, go dancing, go to comedy, laugh with friends, and cook dinners together and just spend time with the people that I really enjoy.
Love that.
Do you have a favorite candy?
I don't really eat a lot of candy. Chocolate. I eat a lot of chocolate.
Okay. Yeah. What about a favorite spice? Spice you use a lot.
Can I be specific to Trader Joe's? They have one that I really like.
Yes.
What's the
one?
everything?
Yes, but the elote or whatever. Yeah.
Or the everything bagel?
I think
Oh, the everything bagel.
Yeah,
Sorry.
everything bagel one. Yeah.
Nice. That one's a good
They
one
have
too.
that at Aldi now too.
Mm.
Just in case.
Ooh, good
This
to
is also an Aldi podcast.
Yeah.
Plugging all.
Hey, Trader Joe's. I went on a Trader Joe's snack run last night.
I love Trader Joe's and Aldi too. But I'm like first and foremost, I was a Trader Joe's girl. So.
All right, you got anything else you
I
want to
think
ask?
I feel like that's
Anything
good.
you want to know? Where's your favorite? If you could go on vacation anywhere right now, where would you go?
Italy.
Any particular city?
I think I would start in Milan and then definitely hit up Florence. And then I would probably spend most of my time on the coast because it's the summer.
I like that.
What's your favorite season?
Fall.
Yeah. Does anybody have a favorite season that's not fall?
I strongly
You're a
have
summer
different
gal.
one. I'm summer.
You're a summer gal.
100%.
Your summer? See, I love summer too. It was hard. I like fall because of the colors and the smell, but summer, there's something about summer that's just incredible.
I hate fall. It's depressing because it means winter's coming.
All right. So we've got the answers here. I'm going to play. We're going to I think the easiest way to do this is we'll take these answers and kind of write some words, and then I'll play the music and you'll pick which one you like, and then we'll try to find some melodies after that.
Okay.
So I think we got to start off with Knick Knack Paddywhack.
Okay. He's good at this.
I love it.
Knick Knack Paddywhack. Give a girl a Cali sober. Something like that. So these are the answers. Sorry.
Oh, we put them on the back of the paper.
Favorite color's green. I have no idea what that says. What was the second one? Animal.
Cassie.
Casey.
We
Yeah.
should mention Cassie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she has a boxer dog that she brings with her pretty much everywhere she
Who's
goes.
adorable.
Where is Cassie? Why haven't we seen her?
I know, right?
This would be a good time for her to make an appearance.
Oh, wait, she's not over there, is she? Oh, Cassie. There she is.
I feel like Cassie rhymes with sassy,
I like that.
Cassie,
and then I feel like never stop dancing needs to be in the chorus.
Okay. Yeah.
Dancing Queen.
Sassy Cassie. I'm into this.
Cassie.
She's a shooter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a shooter
Shooter.
shoots.
She's a shooter. She's sassy.
Celebrate the wins.
Yes.
All right, so this is what I got so far. Knick Knack Paddywhack. Give a girl a Cali sober. She's a shooter. She's sassy. Never see her without Cassie. What's next?
I wanted to make some kind of Dave Matthews reference.
You won't catch her at a library on a Friday night, but you might.
Right? Library.
Oh, I like that.
But if you're up for dancing, she just might. I don't know. I'm trying to rhyme.
Ooh,
I like this.
Yeah.
Never
You won't
stop
catch her
dancing.
in a library on a Friday night, but if you've got dancing in mind, then she just might. How about that?
I like that.
It doesn't have to.
On a Friday night.
That's my first go at writing a lyric.
I love
You're
it.
crushing it. You're crushing it. I also think we should throw in Celebrate the Wins
All right.
or Celebrate
Dancing.
Celebrate.
it all. I don't know.
I like
literally
that.
have a whole module in my sales training program on celebration. It's literally called Celebrate. It's like it's so important no matter what you're doing in life. You got to celebrate all the things.
It really is. And I mean, even if you're finding things to celebrate, I totally agree with that. And it's like, even if you can't think of a great thing, celebrate learning something through the experience you've had.
You know what I said to somebody the other day? I woke up. I'm celebrating that. Sometimes like nothing, like the fact that you woke up is a celebration in and of itself.
Right.
Needs to be said. Like regardless of how your day went, I woke up. I have air in my lungs, and I get another shot at this today.
All of these sound like song lyrics to me.
I love it. I'm trying to keep up.
I know.
All right. It's taking me a minute to write this down. Knick-knack, paddywhack. Give a girl a Cali sober. She's a shooter. She's sassy. Never see her without Cassie. Won't catch her on the library on a Friday night. But if you go out dancing, she just might. Never stop dancing. Never stop dancing. Never stop dancing.
Never stop dancing.
Nice. And then we need like a celebrate part.
I mean, I think that's enough.
That's enough? All
I
right.
think that's enough. Is there anything else you really want to have in your song? What are your feelings about this?
I think I really like it.
Wake up, celebrate.
Wake up, celebrate. Ooh.
Wake up,
Ooh.
dance, celebrate.
Celebrate. And it's got to be whispered. Wake up, celebrate. Wake up, celebrate. Wake up, celebrate. Celebrate, celebrate. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, I'm getting,
This is what you're going to put on first thing in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alarm.
So we start with the wake up, celebrate.
Yeah.
Just to get everybody, and then we'll figure out some melodies here. All right, so, all right. I'm going to listen to it, try to find a melody here.
Okay.
Wake up, celebrate. Wake up, celebrate. Wake up, celebrate. Wake up, celebrate. Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a girl Cali sober. Yeah, yeah. She's a shooter, she's sassy. Yeah. Never see her without Cassie. No, don't catch her at the library on a Friday night. Yeah. But if you go out dancing, she just might. Never stop dancing, never stop dancing, never stop dancing. And the girls say, never stop dancing,
Never stop dancing, never stop dancing.
Everybody say, never stop dancing, never stop dancing, never stop dancing. Never stop dancing, never stop dancing, never stop dancing. Wake up, celebrate. Never stop dancing, never stop dancing. Wake up, celebrate.
Never stop dancing. Wake up.
Yes.
I love it. Look at how.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
That's it.
we could do it a couple more times. I don't know.
I think we nailed it. I
Yeah.
feel like that was it.
That was it.
I think so. I wish I would have captured a little bit of a sneak peek of it.
We'll send it to you. Yeah.
It'll be on the wherever you stream stuff.
Well, once we post it, but I can just send you the song. I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Make it your ringtone.
Yeah.
I think you have to make it your alarm clock.
What'd you say, Stephanie?
I think you have to make it your alarm clock.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think I might make it my morning jingle. Like that's a song to wake up to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never
I
stop
love that.
dancing.
That's
Wake
awesome.
up, celebrate. Never stop dancing.
Mm.
I like
Amazing. That's the title of this podcast. So
like it.
Nice.
Thank you so much for sharing all your stories with us and hanging out with us today. We just think you're amazing. And the kind of concept for our podcast is that we meet so many amazing people like you that come into the shop, and we wanted to share the stories, the celebrations of, life post-alcohol, and you just crushed it. So we really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity, because I know that by sharing our story that hopefully, just like my friend sharing her story of giving up alcohol for a year impacted me, I hope it impacts others. And I want to just thank the two of you for doing what you do and having the vision that you do. And, I love your events. I love the mission that you're on, and I love anything I can do to be supportive of it, because you guys are incredible. And I really respect and appreciate both of you.
All right, we did it. The inaugural episode, the kickoff. Thank you so much for listening all the way through. Thank you, Nicole Cramer, for hanging out with us and talking with us, and for the gems of wisdom you dropped on our ears. If you like the podcast, please leave a review and share with your friends. Follow us on the socials, and we'll see you on the next one.